Hey kids, we're back in Module 5 and today we're working on Lesson 3. We're going to be working with our cubes again, so if you have your unit cubes, you're going to want to get those out. And it does say if necessary, but I really highly recommend it for these problems so that you can get used to looking at these prisms from different angles, okay? So there's really not much in the way of notes to prepare for this one. We just usually start building. So hopefully you have a little something to build with, but if not, you can just watch me build and lock it into your memory. So in the directions it says use the prisms to find the volume. Okay, what we're eventually going to do is find the volume altogether, length times width times height, but in different ways. And you can build them, and what I would recommend is separating your cubes by color so that you can put them into different layers, okay, because we're going to be turning the figure on different sides. And we're going to do it 3 different ways and then show your thinking on the blank ones. We're going to sort of draw it with some straight lines and complete the missing information in the table. So let's get started. Now, first of all, you're going to want to see how many layers or how many cubes are in each layer. So first of all, you might see layers of a cake. So how many layers? Well, I'm going to say there are 2 layers because that's just what jumps out immediately. We're used to that. So how many cubes in each layer? Well, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. And so what you can do is take your 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 and create this base layer, okay? Now, if I have 2 layers and there are 12 in each layer, then I have a total of 24 cubic centimeters. So construct the second layer, okay, in different colors, ideally, if you have them. If you don't, you just kind of get used to turning it. A little bit here, a little bit there, and put that back in. Okay, so here we have, I'm going to squeeze it together and lift it up. Here we have our figure with 2 layers and 12 in each layer. Okay, so we'll put that aside for the moment. And let's just draw this on this prism here by creating a cake out of your rectangular prism. So when we use these, you're going to want to look at the direction these lines are going. We're going to have parallel lines. Look at the direction these lines are going. I want a parallel line that connects with this one but goes the same direction as the top and the bottom. If you do this in this way, then you end up with 12 cubes in each layer. Now, we're not concerned with creating all the little tiny pieces. We're just really looking at the whole layer as one. Okay, so this whole piece, that's the top face, this is the front face, and this is all part of one layer. You can have colored pencils handy if you would like to use that instead of your cubes. Okay, and so for the next one, what do they mean by, like, make it a different way? So what if I was to take my figure and tip it so that it was not 2 layers, but it's like a big high-rise building? Okay, so I'm going to move this camera, so turn off the video, so that you can see, like, this is the same figure that I just made. It still has 24 cubes in it, but it's a tall building. So carefully putting this back, not pressing stop. What you can do here, just move those out of the way, is if I was going to turn my book, I would be creating layers this way. And so what we're going to do is we're going to match that one and then come down here and match this one. Okay, And how many layers are there right here? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 layers with how many in each layer? Remember when I talked about on the previous video slices of bread? So there are 4 in each slice. So we're going to do, I'm going to put one in the middle, because if I'm doing 6, then I need to have 3 on each side of the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, a little over close, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is each layer of 4. And this is my 6 layers. Now the 6 layers, when you talk about it going this way, that's like your tall building. And if you want, you can construct it. I'm not going to make that one because it'd be a lot of different colors and I don't have that many colors. But you can create this tower with 4 in each tower and get a total volume of 24 cubic centimeters. So same amount, it's just we're looking at it in a different way. Now, what about this one? You say, well, I've got the flat layers and I've got the tall layers. What's left? And so this one, if you take that same design that we had before with our yellow, okay, and instead of having the top be the layer, what if we divide it here? Okay, so we're going to take this, and it's just easier for me to make it by putting these on top, and then I'm just going to flip it, and you'll see that once we get this, you can just turn it, and now I have this same figure, only you're looking at it this way, so that the purple, instead of being on the top, is now on the back side. And again, we have the same number because it's 12 on the one layer and 12 on the other layer. So it's 2 layers, 1, 2, and there are 12 in each layer for a total of 24. So you can turn, you can flip, you can make it stand up. Whoops, there it goes. It can fall down, and it's always lots of fun working with these things. Again, keep them away from small children and pets because they will not be feeling too good if they have a belly full of centimeter cubes. All right, so let's move on down to problem B. Same type of thing, but with a different configuration. And so we've got this figure here, and you should take a look and count each layer. So let's look this way. What if I'm going back this way? I see 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 here, and I've got 2 here, and I've got 3 here. So we're going to do the same thing with these 3 figures, so it looks just like this one, but we're going to only use 1 layer. So as we would typically making layers of a cake, we're going to start with our 3 layers. Again, make parallel lines with each of the side pieces. Okay, and when you do that, you see the 3 layers. So if I was making a 3-layer cake, it would be upright, and so the height is what I'm looking at for the layers in the first one. Now, how many cubes are in each layer? So we're looking at 1 layer. Let's just look at the top. Almost looks like a fancy cake with fancy frosting on the side. Oops, but not in the middle there. Okay, so you've got your 2, okay, times 4. Okay, because we've got 3 layers of what? And so I've got 8, and then multiply, and you get your height times how many cubes are in each layer equals the total volume. Let's do another one. If I was going to build this prism and I tip it up, okay, so again, working with the high-rise version of this, then how many levels tall would it be? So this one, I can make 4. I'm going to put the middle, try for the middle. That's not quite in the middle. And again, try to make straight, this is terrible, straight lines that are parallel with the ends. That one is not exactly parallel. And there you go, a little bit better. And then down from here. And again, trying to be parallel with those sides so that you can create this 4-layer. Pencil lid is pooping out. 4-layer building. Now, how many are in each one? Well, if you look at a layer, then you've got your 3 times 2. So if I look at this layer here, okay, that's the 3 times 2. So we have 6. And that'll give us 24 again. So toss out this lead since it's so tiny. I'll get the next one. Uh-oh. Please have lead in there. Oh, yes. Okay. Whew, that's always like a huge relief. I have lead. Okay, and then we can do the final one. So what would it look like, and where does this one go? Kind of curvy. Make it straight. This one is taking this and flipping it. And what if I have 2 layers, like this way? Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. That is not pretty. There we go. Okay, so we're looking at it this way. And in this one, look, you can see 3, 6, 9, 12. So we've got 12 in the 2 layers. 2 layers with 12 in each one for a total of 24. Okay. Kind of sloppy. But if you are so inclined, take your little figures and your little cubes and make each of these, because it can help you to see what you're constructing. It takes a little work and it takes a little time. Okay, but again, if you are able to construct it and you want to kind of see how these go together, then take the time to do it and build it. I'm going to just put this together real quick and then I'm going to move on. So I'm not going to build all of them. Okay, so this is the one with the 12. Oop, there it goes. They're the 12 in each layer. We're having technical difficulties with our construction today. Anyway, so you can kind of see the 12 in each layer, and then that's all for today. Wah, move that off, bulldoze. Okay, you got the right idea. And so let's move onward. I'm gonna move my book and all my fun cubes out of the way so we can get to the top of the next. Okay, so number 2, Josh and Jonah were finding the volume of the prism. The prison, it does look like a prison. The prism to the right. The boys agreed that 4 layers can be added together to find the volume. Josh says that he can see on the end of the prism that each layer will have 16 cubes in it. Jonah says that each layer has 24 cubes in it. Who's right? Explain how you know using words, numbers, and or pictures. So this would involve a lot of cubes, and you probably don't have this many cubes, so you don't need to make it, but you could make 1 layer, and that might help you to kind of see what they're talking about. The boys are looking at this prism from different angles, okay? So if Josh says that he can see right here, it's a 4 by 4, that he's saying this here is a layer. Now, if this is a layer for Josh, then this is the height. Okay, so it would be 16 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now mathematically they'll get the same volume, but we're talking about the layers. Jonah says that if they have 4 layers that we're going to add together, that this has to be a layer. Okay, so see how this is 1 layer for Josh, but Jonah says this one. So Jonah would have 24 cubes in his layer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4. So Jonah has the 6 times 4. And what do you get there? 24. So Josh wants to have 16 and go this way, and Jonah wants to have 24 and go this way, but they agree that there are 4 layers. That means this has to be the height. So the only way you're going to get the height is by going this way with your layers, okay? Because we've got the 6 times 4. So this is 1 dimension, but we've got to go up this other dimension times the height, okay, which is going to be 4. And that's where you get your final answer with our 24. Let's just take this right over here. 6 times 4 times 4, 24 times 4. And then you can multiply it out because 96, I don't think they asked. Blah, 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 and I don't think we have to explain how you know using words, numbers, or pictures. 96 cubic units. Cubic units. Okay, and so who is right is really what they want you to say, and so you're going to say Jonah is right. And why? Because he's using 4 layers, and Josh is using 6 layers. So there you go. Okay, all right, let's move on. Next one, straighten out here. Marcos makes a prism 1 inch by 5 inches by 5 inches. Okay, that's kind of confusing, but really what they mean is it's a 5 by 5 by 1 layer. He then decides to create more layers equal to his first, but you have to fill in the chart and get the new volume depending on all the layers. So we don't really change anything. We just look at this 5 by 5 and say that's going to give us 25 inches squared for the area of the base. Okay, and then we're going to multiply by the number of layers, which is the height, so that's going to take you up. So if you have 25 times 2, then the volume will be 50. And it's all inches, and don't forget you're cubed because you're writing volume. Now, what is the explanation? Well, take your base layer is 25. You need to write this part. This is what the question's all about. Base layer is 25, and multiply by 2 layers. And so you have your 5 by 5 by 2. And that's essentially your length times width times height, or your 25 times 2. And so for the next one, you take the same base layer, is 25, and multiply by, guess what? 4 layers. And so, of course, 25 times 5 is 100 inches cubed. And so you want to label it with your inches cubed. And so that's 5 times 5 times 4, or 25 times 4. And for the final one, it's the same thing. Base layer is 25. Sorry, that's an S. Is 25. And multiply, I cannot write, by 7. It's hard when it's on the slant there. And so you have 7 layers. So it's 5 by 5 by 7. And so you take your 25 times 7. Think of it as quarters. 4 of them would be 100 or $1. 3 more, it's 25, 50, 75. So it's 175 inches cubed. Or 25 times 7. So that is your explanation. Now we have one more little section here. Here we go. And imagine the rectangular prism below is 6 meters long, 4 meters tall, and 2 meters wide. Okay, we can label this 6, 4 meters tall, and 2 meters wide. Draw horizontal lines to show how the prism could be decomposed into layers that are 1 meter in height. Now, when it's the height and we're creating layers and it's 4 meters tall, we're going to make 4 layers. There we go. So we're going to make 4 layers. If you want to divide it, it's going to be, this is your angle, and you want to have parallel. So go to the middle. And then this line, this line, this line right in the middle. Okay, you might have to go back and forth a couple times. No harm in that. Okay, make your layers. It's a little wonky. It's all right, straighten it out. Okay, we're almost done here. Finally, last one is how many layers does it have from bottom to top? Well, the height tells you it has 4 layers. And now we have to start thinking about how many are in each layer. So each horizontal layer has the other 2 numbers multiplied together. So this is going to be a 6 times 2 for 12 cubic meters. And so then, oops, there go the lights. Oh, but it's so sunny outside. It's still light in here. Okay, so then we have 12, and then it's going to be 12 times 4, which is 48. You know, you should become a subscriber because you could see these fun videos every day. So that's all for lesson 3, and I will see you on the next video. You guys are amazing.